All right. So when we tell people all this, and I'm sure this is running through your heads, we get a set of fairly common reactions to, we tell people about the breaches and we tell people about how this happened. Um, this is universal. So the first objection we get almost all the time is, well, that's great. That was a big company. That was Jaguar. That was Nissan. Those are huge companies. They have a lot to steal, but I'm really small and I'm underneath the radar, right? I'm not somebody that's going to get attacked. However, the stats show that most of the attacks are happening against small and medium enterprise, 61% to be in fact. So you're definitely a target. And there's a couple of reasons. First, like we talked about, especially in this sector, easier targets. I can get through more of these. If I'm thinking about from just this is a business and I want money, I'm going to get more victims in my pipeline that I can actually get a ransom payment from or steal data from or whatever I'm doing with the small to medium enterprises versus trying to go after, a Mercedes or a General Motors or whoever, or a JP Morgan Chase. Those folks tend to have better and more sophisticated cybersecurity teams, more difficult to get through. The second objection we get, again, universal, is we just can't afford this. I hear what you're saying, but it's not in the budget. I can't afford it. What I think a lot of people don't understand or realize is the scope of the money being stolen. And so we try to reframe this because one out of every $8 globally is being stolen. That puts it at like $10.5 trillion a year, double the GDP of Germany is being stolen annually. So with that in mind, it's really, how can you not afford? You need this, the same as buying insurance, is the same as putting in sprinklers in your building. These are all risk reduction methods. And with the amount of data being stolen, you certainly wouldn't play Russian roulette if you had a one out of eight chance of having it actually have a live bullet. So you wouldn't want to do that with your business either. So a lot of money being stolen. And then we have insurance. As we just talked about, insurance, if you're paying out 10 point something $trillion a year, and not all of that is business, theft. That's a lot of consumer theft in there as well. But let's say you're even paying out 4 trillion or 2 trillion. That's a lot of money, and it's hard to stay in business if you're paying out claims anywhere approaching that amount. So the insurance companies are really getting strict around, we want you, the insured, to be doing your part to protect the business and to put in these protections. They've gone so far. We've seen Chubb, we've seen Hartford, we've seen Lloyd's. They've all come out with new clauses in their agreements where they say, hey, if you have something unpatched and it goes longer than 30 days, depending on the carrier, your coverage goes to either zero for the affected systems or zero across the board. That's one thing we see. We now see insurance carriers putting in clauses saying you must meet all the related regulatory frameworks. So if you're dealing with, say, let's just finance as an example, if you're not FTC compliant and we come in and you have an event, we find that you're not compliant, we're not paying, right? And that's just an easy way for them to blanket the coverage and say, well, you got to be doing your own set of protection. Again, we're last course of defense. We're not first line of defense, right?